Just thought I'd give a little info on what my plans are for this rusty old XJ. Alright, so I'm back in the garage and it's time to get back to work on the XJ. It's been a little while, a couple months probably, since I've done anything on the XJ. The last thing I did was I was working on these spring mounts on the driver's side, and I got the front mount mostly in, and I still need to get the rear mount in, so that's one thing I want to take care of. And then the other thing, when I was welding in the front mount, you can see right there, there's a nice little rust hole and or burn through hole. So that was pretty thin there when I was trying to connect the that spring mount to the sheet metal, and so I'm going to cut out some of that sheet metal and replace it. So that's probably the first thing I'm going to work on. And then after that, get the rear spring mount finished up, and then we'll go from there. I did it again. See that? Hit my wire bundle there, so that's going to have to be something to repair. I did that before, right over there too, when I was cutting stuff, and I moved this out of the way so I wouldn't hit it again. Well, guess I didn't move it far enough. So that'll be repairs for a later time. Yep. I'm trying to get all this seam sealer junk out of here so I can actually weld to it, but I don't know. Alright, so let me explain what I'm doing here with these holes. So there's a piece underneath here, and I actually was going to drill the holes in this plate before I put it in, but I forgot. So I got this plate put in, but there's the piece where the spring mount goes is right underneath this, so I drilled these two holes so I can spot weld it in. So I'm just doing that after the fact because I forgot to do it beforehand. So just a little way to connect it a little firmer there to the stuff underneath. So when I was drilling those out, I was using this weird little bit. This is a bit that's made for drilling out spot welds, and so it's just really good for going through the upper layer without punching through what's underneath. Because all I wanted to do was get rid of the sheet metal I just put in, not go through what's underneath it, and that's what I think I've accomplished. So now I just need to fill those two holes in with weld. Alright, so now that I got that piece in, we can go underneath. And you can see why I was doing that, because this right here, which is the spring bracket, that's that piece that I just put in. And previously, when I tried to weld onto it, that's what that little gobs is there, it was just blowing through there. So now that I have that on there, I'm going to try and weld this bracket along there. The bracket is already welded along the front side there, so it's on there pretty good, but I figured it probably wouldn't hurt to put just a little bit along the back and get it on there on both sides. And so that's why I wanted to replace that piece, just to, you know, have something a little better to weld to. It's just sheet metal anyway, but at least it's not horrible rusty sheet metal anymore. Alright, so now that I got that front one all taken care of, it's time to move on to this rear one here. So I got the bracket in there where I think it's supposed to go. I got it, you know, clamped on there and pushed up against the frame just to make sure that I get it as close as I can. There's a little bit of a gap there, but I can take care of that. And, you know, looks pretty good. So now I just need to get this thing welded in. Alright, so now that I got the inner spring mount on the rear on there, I need to get the outer part on there. And before I get it in there, I've been trying to line it up. I'm using my my laser here to try and get it somewhat straight. And then I have an electronic level on there as well. So I think I've got it lined up to be pretty much straight. I mean, I don't think anything's going to be very straight on this Jeep when I'm done with it, but I'm trying to get it at least, you know, close. So, all right, so underneath here, you can kind of see the line. The laser line is going right along I'm blocking part of it. There we go. The laser line is going right along the bolt, and it's pretty straight. I've got it lined up so that it's in line with the bolt on the other side as well, and then also lined up along the frame. So it should be perpendicular to the frame and more or less straight. And then as far as level, if I take my level here and put it on that bolt, it says 178.3, which is pretty close to level. 180 would be complete level, but I think 178 is close enough for me. Alright, so I changed my mind and decided I didn't like that being off by 2 degrees, so I made a slight modification. And now, oh look at that. It was at 179 a second ago, but it looks like I got it exactly at 180 now. So what I ended up doing is I trimmed a little bit off of the top of the bracket right there. So I cut this piece off the top of that bracket, and I mean, sure, I probably want this for support. And so what I'm going to do though is I'm just going to reattach it right about like that, so it has like a slight angle on it, because that'll make it sit a little nicer level, because some of my other pieces, like this piece, isn't exactly level. So that's why I had to make that modification, and I think that'll be just fine. Alright, so that might not have been the easiest thing to see underneath there, so I thought I'd give a little closer look at what I did there. So here's what I did here. You can see this piece right there is cut, and then it's angled. You see how it's not lined up anymore with the other piece? So basically, all I did was I cut that off, and then I angled it down slightly. Because the piece on top of it is kind of tipped this way, so when this piece went up in there, it was contacting right here on this edge first, which was actually holding it down slightly slightly in that direction. And so all I did was I angled that little section right there down like that. And so now I just need to reattach it, and then it should be good to go. Alright, well I forgot to film most of that, but I got that last bracket all welded in now. So it's in there pretty good. I don't think it's going anywhere. It passes the hit it with your hand test, so that's how you know it's sturdy. And it also looks like it's still fairly level. That says 179.3? I don't know. Anyway, I think that's probably close enough to level. So yeah, that takes care of the spring brackets on the driver's side. We got the rear one, and the front one is all finished up. So I think it's more or less done with this side of the rear frame repair. I still got a piece right here that I need to cut out and replace. And then later, I'm going to put on frame stiffeners over all of this. But I'm not going to do that right now. There's other work I'm going to do before I get to the frame stiffeners. Probably next I'm going to be moving on to the interior floorboards and stuff, but that's going to be another night because it's getting late, and I think that's going to do it for me for tonight. So I don't know if I ever went over what my plans were with this XJ. So thought I'd just take a minute here and tell you what I got in mind. So obviously I'm fixing all the rust, you know, but the originally I was going to fix the rust and keep the, you know, the axles that came with it for now, and put like a small like 3-inch lift, and you know, maybe a little more, enough to run, you know, 31s or 33s. But since I got the Jeep, I came into the possession of a couple Dana 44 axles. So this is the front axle from a Wagoneer, and so that's a Dana 44, and then that's a Dana 44 from, I think it's an Isuzu Rodeo, and the reason that you use those is because the bolt pattern on the Rodeo matches the Wagoneer. And so anyway, so since this is a Dana 44 from Wagoneer, it's got the spindle style lockout hubs. This one right now, I think they're just I don't know, like has a slug in there or something to make it fully locked. I'll put some lockouts on that eventually, so it has the manual lock-unlock hubs. So anyway, it's not going to get the stock axles in it. I'm going to upgrade it to those Dana 44s when I put it back together. But before I do that, I got to finish everything I'm working on, which is the frame is more or less done. If you've seen the interior, the front driver and passenger floor pans have got some pretty good rust holes in them, so I got new floor pans. That's probably what I'm going to start working on next. And then once that's all set, I got new rocker panels, and I'm going to build some custom rock sliders out of some square tube to beef that up. Then we'll put the axles back underneath it, and like I said, probably run like a 31 or a 33-inch tire at first, and it'll stay on the short arm suspension starting off, just to, you know, make sure the Jeep is still drivable and doesn't, like, you know, break in half or anything, because you know, it's pretty rusty. Anyway, if it survives all that, eventually I want to put a long arm kit on it, and the 35s off the WJ will be going on it. And so that's the plan, is I want to get this one ready so that I can take the axles out of the WJ, because I have some 1-ton Super Duty axles buried under this pile that are going to be going in the WJ. And so that's why I've been working on the XJ more than anything, because, well, it needs a lot of work, and also because I want to get it ready to wheel, so I got something to wheel while I tear into the WJ for the 1-tons. Anyway, just thought I'd give a little info on what my plans are for this rusty old XJ, where I'm going, and we'll see how long it takes to get there. It's probably still going to be a while because I'm slow, and but I'll get it there eventually. I got a plan in my mind of where I want to go with this Jeep, so we'll see how long it takes me to get there. Anyway, thanks for watching.